Investors. This is Russell. He's been such a huge resource for us, but we're all here to talk about 1031 exchanges today. But in order to get to a 1031 exchange, that means first you're a landlord. And so as a landlord, Ryan from First Rate Property Management reminded us that pre-leasing properties is a great way to cut out vacancies, that lease takeovers are a great way to help add flexibility. They're win-win scenarios, and that renewal incentives for renewals can be quite mutually beneficial if you're letting tenants have freshly cleaned carpet. But when it does come time to selling your investments, you might consider the tool that Russell here from IPX 1031 calls the greatest wealth building tool in the IRS tax code.
I thought you were calling me a tool.
Yeah, no. So proponents do it because capital gains can be more than you think. And especially when you factor in both federal and state depreciation recapture. Opponents of 1031s remind us that we're deferring taxes and not deleting them. But that's where Russell comes in and says there are indeed ways to truly delete the taxes by swapping until you drop. And some of the fancier tools that will allow you to relinquish your heavy-duty toilet plunger would be exchanging into things like a Delaware statutory trust, which is actually truly passive and still does apply. 1031s are still applicable. For partnerships, if you have them or want to exchange into them as a more passive member, you just have to remember the rule that it has to be the same name. The buyer and seller has to be the same name. So that's another good time to pick up the phone and make sure you're doing that correctly, especially if you're considering the drop and swap where you change names in advance. Before the contract, you reminded us, don't wait till the last second. Personal use conversions are another way to take all of your hard-earned toilet plunging efforts in life and put that money to use for yourself and get your dream cabin or your dream home. And your heirs will still have a step up in basis when you're doing mixed use or partial exchanges. Flippers can figure out a way to do it so long as they eventually rent it out for about a year or so. You can then turn it into a 1031. You can do fancy things like segment off the land surrounding your house and 1031 that land. But basically, Russell's advising that we use it to diversify and consolidate or even change asset classes to things that become more appropriate as we age. So talk to your CPA. Don't hesitate to give me a call. But if it's 9 o'clock on a Friday, Russell here really will take your phone call and love it. Call him.
I know I'm going to get a flood this Friday. I know this room now. Yeah, you guys are going to call me on Friday. Yeah. You said to call.
Russell Marsan with IPX 1031, Vice President of 1031 Exchange. Thank you so much for talking to AVID Investors.
My pleasure.
AVID Investors.